Hello, everybody, and good afternoon. This is Austin Beer. I am picking up the roles and responsibilities for Emily Thompson as she transitions over full-time to the I3 Mentoring Induction Grant through the New Teacher Center. I'll be picking up internal staff mentoring this year. So if you do have questions and need support, I'll be your contact. The best way usually to get in touch with me is through my email, which is attached to the email that you just received. Today, as I kind of go through some different tools and information, I will be showing you where those can be located on the mentoring site. If you have additional questions following this brief webinar, go ahead and shoot me those questions. I'll be happy to put you in touch with the resources that you need. The first piece that I want to cover today is a little bit of kind of housekeeping. I've started to get a few questions about what the expectations are in terms of making contact with your second year mentees and what tools you might want to consider using as we get rolling. So the first thing we'll do is we'll just go through the mentor commitment statement, which many of you may have seen last spring. I want to run through this really quickly because we know these dates are rapidly approaching, or some of them may have already passed. So if you are brand new as a mentor this year and you're attending the New Teacher Center trainings to be a mentor, there's a total of 6 days that you need to have in your calendar. Hopefully you're able to attend the first 3 days, which I think everyone was. These dates are supported through TQ dollars, so you will need to take those days off contract and submit a time card. You should have received that time card already. If you haven't, let me know. But this is just for first year mentors. If you've been a mentor or you're coming back on board as a mentor this year and you're not attending the new mentor training this year, disregard anything related to TQ dollars because that doesn't apply. We'll get into the stipend for second year or veteran, I'll say, maybe veteran mentors at our first mentor forum. We'll have you sign a resource agreement and just kind of go through the requirements for that stipend. So you will see here there are some dates that are coming up. These dates here are for staff who are not first year mentors. So all staff who have been a mentor or are coming back on as a mentor this year, we would like for you to attend at least one of the upcoming New Teacher Center mentor professional development training. So you can see here that I have some dates highlighted. These are all individual trainings that you can elect to attend. I'll be sending out a survey here, hopefully in the next week or two, just asking you which professional development opportunity that you'd like to take. The reason for that is we do have to get you registered and I need to order some materials prior to those trainings. So please be considering in the next few days which training that you would like to attend so that we can go ahead and get you registered. The next piece that's important to remember is that there are, again, 4 mentor forums this year, and the purpose of these mentor forums is to provide us a format and a professional learning community to help support each other around peer coaching and role playing, possibly in challenging situations, or just refining our practice as mentors. We'll be investigating new tools this year that apply to our AEA context, and these dates, interestingly enough, are mostly in Coralville, so that's important to remember. That's kind of a change for us here at Grantwood, but 3 of the 4 dates will be in Coralville, and the time of these mentor forums will be from 4 o'clock until 5:30. Another expectation that we have of second year mentoring is that there's at least weekly coaching and problem solving conversations. These can occur, as you may know, on the phone, through Skype, through Zoom, in an email. It could be face to face, whatever makes sense for your context and your mentees' needs. We would also like for monthly face to face mentoring to occur and to have those interactions focused on really pushing mentees' practice forward and accelerating their autonomy. So there's a number of items you can see here that we hope that you can have some conversations and focused leadership with your mentees this year during those face-to-face mentoring activities. Most of you are fairly familiar with the CAL, or the collaborative logs. We would again encourage you to be using those in your conversations with your mentees, and we would like to have 4 of those submitted per semester. So we'll have a total of 8 of collaborative logs that will need to be submitted by the end of the year. Again, this year we're going to be focusing on completing an inquiry cycle, so that includes the collaborative logs, building an observation and analysis of student work into your mentee's professional goal for the year, and submitting evidence of some of those pre-observations and post-observation processes that you do with your mentees. We hope that you can continue to assist mentees in just reflecting on their induction professional goals. This year they're transitioning to more of that professional goal with their supervisors, so we hope that you can continue to support that work. We want to also this year spend some time focusing on developing professional mentor goals that we can align to those new teacher center professional development opportunities that are available. So we'll give you just some time here to kind of look over the last few bullet points here before we transition on just to a few more talking points. So in a moment I'll show you where you can find this mentoring commitment statement on the mentoring site. All right. Well, one important aspect that I wanted to quickly revisit, it's fundamental, I really believe, to the mentoring program here and the relationships that you're developing with your staff. What we know is that we can probably all attest to this as well. We know that when we do receive some professional development or training on a new skill, or even a skill that we feel like we're pretty confident in, there's a pretty quick regression of our knowledge, and many times a lack of application of those skills, because we're all very busy, and our minds can only absorb so much information at one time. So we just want to revisit that what we know is that if information is presented and kind of used as part of training, 85% of participants will be able to show the concept understanding of the training. About 15% of those participants, they'll be able to demonstrate the content of the training, and only 10% of those participants will be able to apply the training. So what this really means is that as staff are provided with new learning, and you can put this in many contexts as we think about our work here at the agency as FAST rolls out and MTSS. Many of us can probably spit back a lot of the components that make those initiatives highly important, along with our agency's mission goals of reducing the achievement gap, increasing student proficiency, as well as focusing on those 21st century skills. Many of us can probably have a elevator conversation around those skills, but in the application arena, that becomes more challenging. That's why this mentoring relationship is so critical. And I just want to share this visual with everyone. And we know that once we have coaching and support along with that knowledge base, that we get a much higher implementation rate and more of a quality implementation. So this is a pretty critical component of new staff, even though they're moving into their second year. The next piece that I'd like to share, I've gotten some questions around this, is around kind of the flow of the year. And to give you an idea, we could just have a little arrow here to be fairly simple. To give you an idea, kind of August through October, what the focus of that mentoring relationship is, and then from November to March what it looks like, and finally from April to May. So I'm not going to go through this in fine-grained detail, but these are some conversations you might want to think about before you're starting to meet this fall with your mentees, and when might be a good time to use a specific tool, or to maybe set aside some time for planning around these conversations. So it would be appropriate again to revisit with your mentees the mentoring system and what that looks like for the year. We'd really encourage you, as you're starting to understand again what the mentor role is and kind of those guidelines. We'll be revisiting those in the forums, but we really encourage you to consider reviewing some of those mentoring materials from the new Teacher Center. I just recently did that myself, and I was surprised at how many things pop back out pretty quick that are pretty essential. So if you have questions about the flow of the year in terms of your role and expectations, either email me or bring those questions to our first mentoring forum. All right, the next piece that I would like to cover is a checklist, and this is probably what many of you are hoping for, is to give you an idea specifically when certain things are due and when to start planning for different activities. So you'll have access to this checklist, but I wanted to walk through it real quickly with you. What we'd like you to do is, hopefully in the next couple of weeks, if you could access the EduVision portal on our Grantwood homepage, and I'll show you how to do that in a moment. There's just a brief video. Actually, I won't say it's brief. I think it's like 10 or 15 minutes. But there's a video that was put together by the mentoring team last year, and it just gives you an idea of what that first year looks like for mentees, so you kind of have an idea of what the induction coach's role was last year. And the induction coaches this year are Dusty Reese and Rachel White. So you can get an idea of what that relationship looked like, and there's also some information on what year 2 should be looking like. To access that video, it's fairly straightforward. If you go to our Grantwood homepage, you'll notice in the right hand side there's a button that says EduVision. If you click that button, it'll take you to EduVision. In the search box, just type in mentoring.
Iowa's area education agencies, or
You'll notice you'll need to scroll down a little bit. You'll notice there are some videos here. You'll want to click on the video that says mentoring video. Once you do that, it'll take you to that video I was mentioning for just a revision of the mentoring program. Okay, so back to our checklist here. We have our checklist kind of broken up into fall, winter, and spring, because you know how much we like our benchmarks here at Grantwood. So some information that you might want to just look at in terms of timelines is completing those CALs, those collaborative logs, using other tools. So some of those other tools might be selective scripting, analysis of student work. You might be going in to do an observation. So we'd like for that to be occurring throughout the fall, at least one, if not more, of those tools being used throughout the fall with your mentees to help push their practice forward and helping them to be reflective about practice. I won't go through all the specific details here because I know how much we like to be read to in PowerPoint. So I want you just to maybe take some time over the next week to take a moment and review the different expectations. The one thing that I will point out though is that each of the 3 kind of benchmarking periods in here, if you will, there is options for those new Teacher Center trainings. This might be a little confusing. I just want to clarify, you don't have to pick a new Teacher Center professional development for each time of the year. Just pick one. I've just indicated here which ones are available at which specific times of the year. See, there's some more down here. So again, please just take a moment to review the mentoring activities and timelines. Again, let me know if you have any questions about that process. So next, I'd like to show you just some quick tools. You can access this Grantwood AEA Mentor site through Google site, so I'll show you how to do that. If you open up a window in Google, you don't need to take notes, it's pretty straightforward.